Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Massive news in the world of football as the days of Barcelona's legend, the Argentine Lionel Messi, are officially over. Despite both club and player initially agreeing on a new contract talk, it broke down due to what the club termed as financial and structural obstacles. Messi, believe it or not, spent a staggering 21 years at the club and scored a record 672 goals, won 10 La Liga titles, 4 Champions League, 7 Copa del Rey titles, while raising the Ballon d'Or trophy a record 6 times. Here's a statement from the club on the matter. So, of course, headlined Leo Messi not staying at FC Barcelona despite club and player reaching an agreement and their clear intention to sign a new contract today. This cannot happen because of financial and structural obstacles. So, of course, we know the likes of PSG and Manchester City were initially reported as the front runners in signing Messi, and we will have our ears on the ground as this gathers momentum. So, Chris Taylor, I want you to start by telling me, your initial reaction when you heard that Lionel Messi has parted ways with Barcelona, because this is a conversation that has been, we've been hearing about it for some time. I was thinking that, it's just Lionel Messi being angry and, he will never leave Barcelona because his heart is buried there. How did the news grip you at first?
I don't think Lionel Messi planned to leave. I don't think Barcelona is broke. I think their financial situation, right now they're in dire straits. I don't think they have the money to fund the kind of wages that Messi will require and so on. A lot of persons have been wanting to see Lionel Messi play for somewhere else as a new challenge, want to see if he could perform in other leagues and so on. So now is that opportunity. Yes, it's coming at 34 years of age where he's probably past his best. But for a long time, person says, Lionel Messi is just a one-league player. He can't play elsewhere. They would love to see him in English Premier League or in the Italian League and so on. So now that opportunity will arise. Who will be able to pay those wages and so on for Lionel Messi? You mentioned Manchester City, but they have just made some purchases of their own. So I'm not sure that Lionel Messi is on the cards for them. So it'll be interesting to see who comes up trumps for the 34-year-old Argentinian.
Yeah, I'm happy that you say, Manchester City has been doing a lot because they've bought so many players that have been expensive. There's talks that they're going to take Harry Kane. Well, they're trying to, meet the requirements to get Harry Kane. So as much as we want to believe that Lionel Messi would be a part of the Premier League, it seems a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, well, and things do happen last minute. So, strange things can happen. Lionel Messi is still Lionel Messi at the end of the day, and many teams would love to have him in there. It will all come down to the fact of whether he would suit many dressing rooms, depending. Yes, he comes with a lot of experience, but he also will limit opportunities for some other players who have probably been stalwarts in their clubs all along. So I'm not sure from a Lionel Messi perspective where he sees himself playing, which league he would be interested in. But I'm sure that a lot of teams would be interested in him. I just don't think a lot of teams will be able to afford him.
Yeah. And, we have to spend some time talking about Barcelona and what Barcelona will look like without Lionel Messi, because La Liga has gained a lot of momentum, a lot of attraction for the big name players that they have. When we think La Liga, you think Lionel Messi. So now this will be a new look competition unless one of the La Liga teams can, of course, find the money to sign Lionel Messi and just to see him suit up, which I don't think he will do personally. What does this mean for the competition, La Liga?
More competition. The fact that Lionel Messi is no longer at Barcelona means that they are going through a transition period, as we've seen so far. In fact, the two biggest clubs in Spain have been going through transitionary periods. Both Real Madrid and Barcelona, their squad generally has been, quite old. And this is a transition period for them. As I said, we saw the changes in Barcelona when Luis Suarez left and that hole that created in the Barcelona attack. He then went to Atletico Madrid, and here what? They won the title this year, partially because of Luis Suarez's potency up front and so on. And that hole in the attack for Barcelona still has not been filled right. The chemistry with Griezmann and so on, not quite where you want it to be. Dembele as well, not really turning up in the way that Barcelona need him to turn up. So, as you said, there's a lot of changes happening in that Barcelona team. They're struggling for cash. And all teams go through this at some point in history, these transitionary periods where they do struggle for a while and they have to rebuild, and that's no different for Barcelona at this point. I don't think that Lionel Messi will stay in La Liga. That would be a bit strange for me. I wouldn't be surprised if he was to go outside of Spain, but I'm just not sure where.
Definitely. Well, I want to introduce now, we have former Trinidad and Tobago international and our SportsMax analyst, Brent Sancho. He's joining us now to discuss this bombshell of a breaking news. Brent?
Hey, Mariah, and hey, Chris, how you guys doing?
What's up, Brent?
We're good. Well, I was good until I got the news of Lionel Messi, of course, no longer being a part of Barcelona. Talk to me. A big hit?
Did you get a call?
Yeah, I think he's on his way to Trinidad. He may be coming to Central FC.
Oh,
We'll
I
see.
Good
Yeah,
news,
we'll
man.
see. But no, I think obviously this has been something that's been going on for some time, this conversation. And I mean, over the summer, you have to take into consideration that this is a situation where I feel that this is Laporte calling La Liga's bluff. I don't think necessarily Lionel Messi is going to move on. But I think this is where the big two in particular, just a couple of days ago, they announced that they're going to continue with their discussions with the European Super League. And I feel that this is one part of their continuous fight with La Liga.
So do you see, so basically you're saying that you think it's just sort of like, you know, a threat and not necessarily is going to happen, Brent?
I think it's a bluff. It's a gamble.
Okay.
You know, I think so. When you look at the La Liga laws, it's not something that is done in many other countries. There's not many places Lionel Messi could go. And for me, I just feel that there's something fishy about this. The timing of it, all the conversation about the fact that Barcelona has to clear decks and be able to fit in under a certain financial line. I think this is the big two flexing their muscles. Just recently as well, La Liga would have gotten an investor to come in to give loans to some of the lower tier clubs, and both Real Madrid and Barcelona was happy about that. So look, there's some friction there no doubt about it, between La Liga and the top two teams, and I think this is just another chapter in that war.
Yeah, and that's a really good way to look at it. But we have to recognize that, of course, big teams, Manchester City and PSG, they've made it known that, you know, they're courting the idea of bringing Lionel Messi to their clubs. So I'd like to hear, you know, where do you stand on those two teams and they welcoming Lionel Messi?
If I was to take a gander, it would probably only can be PSG. I think Man City's investment in Jack Grealish now probably could put them out of the race, although we're just talking salaries here. Manchester United, of course, could possibly find their way financially. But for me, it could be PSG. Remember, of course, the financial fair play, of course, that is something that is instituted, of course, all European clubs, although it's very much a paper law. And most clubs normally get a slap in the wrist when they break it. So it's really the ones who can put together the kind of money that would draw Messi away. But if you track your mind back, I don't think Lionel Messi wants to leave. And it's something I said on this very show, that I just don't think he wants to leave Barcelona. This is just another play for him to stay.
Brent, I hear you mentioning the issues with La Liga and so on, and we're very aware of that with Barcelona. But do you think that there could be some undertones between Messi and the governing body, or let us say the management body of Barcelona? We know that Lionel Messi is comfortable in Barcelona. That's where he's been for 21 years. But the relationship has not been at its best over the last year or so. Do you think that those could be some underlying factors and we're just not hearing about it? Because this is very sudden.
Yeah, they've had their wars during the time, but I think since Laporte has come in, I think things has turned around a bit. Laporte is obviously, and Messi has quite a good relationship, and so that's one of the reasons why, of course, there was an agreement done. This is a situation where both parties would have had an agreement; they would have signed a contract, and they felt comfortable moving along. What Barcelona has made very public is the fact they would have felt a bit of a way in terms of the La Liga law. So I think it's more, Chris, the La Liga fight and not necessarily the dispute between Barcelona and Lionel Messi.
If somehow though, Brent, it does have Lionel Messi out of contract with Barcelona, or the relationship is severed, what then happens at this point? Because as you mentioned, PSG is probably the only team that can afford his wages. What then happens with the season beckoning? I mean, where does Lionel Messi stand? What do you think will happen?
That's a very good question, Chris. And I think at the end of the day, I might even go as far as that maybe Lionel Messi will sit out until he can figure this out, meaning that, of course, between him and Barcelona, he can be registered. But if it's a bluff, it's a big one. I tell you what, it's a massive gamble by Barcelona. Again, there's not many clubs that could sign Lionel Messi. Of course, we know how hefty his wage package is. So you can't really see him going to many clubs. Of course, Man City and PSG comes to mind. But PSG just made a whole host of signings, Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos, etc. And of course, City just made this $100 million bid for Grealish, and they're in pursuit for Harry Kane.
Yeah, and I'd love to, because that's where I was going to lead the discussion now, for you to assess that move by Manchester City. What were they thinking? How does Jack Grealish fit into this Manchester City setup? And for £100 million?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that they pushed the boat out so far. But I think one of the things that would have been harping on Pep's mind after the final against Chelsea is the fact that some of his 1v1 players deserted him. In particular, Raheem Sterling and Riyad Mahrez. And that's the side of the game that he really wants to improve it. We all know that when teams play Manchester City, they're going to sit back. So he does need a player that can break players down, that can take players on 1v1, that can create something out of nothing. And there's no better player in the Premiership. And I may even argue Jack Grealish is up there in the top 10 players in the world at taking players on. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's gone so aggressively after, of course, the young man from Aston Villa.
And I was going to ask you, where exactly you see Jack Grealish fitting in? We know that Jack Grealish likes to pick up the ball in the midfield and likes to veer towards the left-hand side. Now, if you know how the Manchester City side is set up, that is generally Raheem Sterling's wing. The left-hand side and cuts in with the right foot. So is it a case where we are seeing a changing of the guard in terms of starting position for Manchester City? Or is Jack Grealish going to be like what he was in the Euros, an impact player off the bench?
Not when you spend $100 million. There's no way he's going to sit on that bench, that's for sure. And part of the conversation leading into it, and even when you listen to the conversations about Harry Kane, it's about Raheem Sterling going the other way. And I would want to suspect that is probably what is going on, that Raheem Sterling is someone that they look as dispensable or look at as dispensable. So they look at Jack Grealish and maybe even adding Harry Kane as the way forward for Manchester City.
But Brent, the funny thing about that is, yes, I agree that Raheem Sterling had a very, very mediocre for his standards Premier League. But then the performance in the Euros was amazing. Really played well for England. He was a standout performer for England. So, as I say, you're as good as your last performance. I'm sure Pep Guardiola would have looked at that and said, but Raheem Sterling has obviously gotten back into some form. He played well at the international level. So, I mean, I think his view of the situation might be slightly different. I just kind of wonder where Jack Grealish will fit in. You have the Gundogans, you have the Mahrez as well, you have a lot of players in that Manchester City team. So who starts to miss out?
All right, Chris. So we will have to keep that question for Brent because, of course, we'll have to connect with him again.
Yeah.
Bit of technical difficulties. But in the meantime, I want to take a look at some of Messi's stats at Barcelona. The most goals scored in La Liga so far. Well, that's it for Barcelona, 474. The most goals scored in one La Liga season, a total of 50.
Well, that's a record as well.
A record for sure. When we look at the hat-tricks in La Liga, in one season, 8, right? His most La Liga hat-tricks overall, 36, that's a record. And then the most assists in La Liga, 192. And most home goals scored in club history in La Liga, 278. So, I mean, numbers, George and Lance, they said before I came on the show, they say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And that's a fact, you know.
But there's no doubt, nobody would question Lionel Messi's impact on La Liga and impact on Barcelona over these 21 years. I mean, he's a scoring machine. He's broken all the records. I mean, just think about it. 36 hat-tricks in his time in the La Liga. I mean, that in itself is amazing. I mean, those statistics and so on. But as I said, there's nobody who is doubting what he means to Barcelona and what he's done for La Liga, and you know the impact that he has had generally in terms of media rights, support right throughout, and so on. So it will certainly be a player that will be heavily missed. As you said,
I think it changes the discussion. I think it changes the look of La Liga with no Lionel Messi in it.
Yeah, and it kind of changed the look somewhat before, because when Cristiano Ronaldo was there, you had both of them going head-to-head for the scoring titles every year. One was a Ballon d'Or this year, the next one was the next year. So when Cristiano Ronaldo left as well and went to Italy, that made a major difference as well. Now, the possibility of Lionel Messi moving on as well, of course, that will dent a lot of the visibility of La Liga. But hey, nobody stays 20 forever, eh?
Definitely. And as we said to our viewers, of course, we will be keeping an eye on the ground. So we will be giving you an update as to what's really happening with Messi. Where does he go? Where is he going to end up? Where do we see him? You know, we have so much more questions than answers right now. We go to break. We'll be back.